Hello, good people of Earth. My name is Eric.
Hey, everybody. My name's Dave. Welcome to Love Your Brain. This is what we look like.
This is what we look like. I'm sorry. I apologize for nothing, but here we are.
Welcome to our first video episode. Up till now, you've only had to listen to us drone on, but now you actually have to look at us too. So, let's see. We've got some new stuff coming up in season 2. This is going to be our last episode for season 1.
Mm-hmm. What's the exciting new stuff that's coming up in season 2, man?
We're going to be having some new folks come on. Folks who had been here as guests, and they're going to be joining us as regular panel members. And who knows, we might even change the name a little. If you stay subscribed, you'll see it coming. And we're looking forward to it. Things are going to get a little bit interesting around here.
So stay tuned.
Yeah. This is kind of fun, too, because while we're talking to you, we're looking ourselves up on the let's see, brain. All right,
there you go.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot, and join us for our last episode of season 1, and stay tuned for season 2.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I want to know, can you find your mind?
Welcome to Love Your Brain.
Hello, good Hello people there. of Earth. My name's
Eric. Hey, Eric. I'm Dave. And you guys, welcome to Love Your Brain.
Look at this. Wow.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of Phish Comes to Town. This is recorded a little bit after they came to town. In our last episode, what did we do? We talked a lot.
We talked a lot, as we always do. We talked a lot about Phish, your background with it, a little bit of the Dead, and it wasn't enough time. So we figured we'd do 2 parts.
Yeah, because one of the big things about a band like Phish or a band like the Grateful Dead is that they have this fan base that is unlike anything else that's really out there right now. You know, they follow them. They do we'll get into what they do in a second because we have a special guest tonight. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is we're going to call him on now. Chris Badoian, come on down.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show.
What's up, brother?
I'm kind of honored. This is my first real podcast. Done some other things, but
yeah. Chris and I know each other now since, what did we determine, about 92-ish?
92-ish, 91, 92. I was trying to think of my first show, and it was the Worcester Auditorium. But I think it was 92, 93.
Yeah. That
New
was
Year's. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that would have been the year before they went, so that would have been 92.
Yeah.
Because 93 was at the Centrum.
Yeah, which I did that one too, but 92 was my first real Phish show,
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
And I was in 7th grade. Yeah.
I was in 9th grade, so I was so me and Dave go way back. It's like he said, I was closer to his brother, obviously, because we're closer in age. But we were a pretty big crew, all through Nashville High. One high school, big town. Everyone knew everyone, so it was good.
Yeah. And we talked about early on in the first season. We talked about my brother Dan, who lost his life from an overdose. And I personally don't like to hide that. It was a thing at the time that we kept it somewhat quiet because my mom had this thing about it. But I just want to bring that up because that's how I met Chris, and certainly. But after Dan died, you know, I still see these guys all the time, and you know, it's still like running into cousins and brothers, really.
To clarify, though, Dan was a double-lettered jacket varsity athlete and straight A student in high school. Like, he was...
Yeah, I think he triple lettered.
Yeah, it wasn't like, this was not like, this was
Basketball.
surprisingly not in the plan for Dan to go what he did. So,
Yeah, no.
you know, like,
He was, he was,
a
you know,
good
he
guy.
was the dapper guy. He, you know, he played sports. He was, and then he went and he became an adult like the rest of us. But, you know, a lot of those sports injuries led to that,
true.
you know. I
Happens
mean, he
to a
was
lot
on
of people.
prescription painkillers for a while, you know, and that
Was he
didn't help.
running back in high school, right? Was he, is it what he's,
Yeah, he blew his knee out in high school.
Matt Raish and those guys?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look at that.
Yeah, that's you up there, man.
Hi, guys.
We're all
Yeah, I
still
think
getting
we're all
used to that.
getting used to it right now.
Live
Yeah.
TV and such. So, yeah, so whatever, man. You guys
Yeah,
are talking
whatever.
about...
So,
Whatever is exactly what the theme of this show is.
yeah, so you guys met around the same time as you guys started getting into Phish.
before.
Okay.
Because we were more like punk rock, and it was like alternative punk rock music. And we would, you know, 8th, 9th grade, we would just... I'm going to be full disclosure here. We were buying acid.
you can say whatever
We were
you
buying
want on
acid and,
disclosure.
you know, eating acid all the time, you know, pre-Phish days. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I started using LSD when I was still a punk rocker. You know, I used LSD quite a bit before I even realized its full potential, you know.
Trying to, yeah, because I took Dan to one of his first shows is up in Albany in spring of '93 for the Grateful Dead.
Well, that's a whole, like, we get to how you transition into that, but I think we were all, like, skate culture, kind of punk rocky, and then, you know, we morphed into that whole, like, when the touch of gray heads, you know, like, that's really, like,
Yeah.
where we're that generation, you know, like, the late 90s, so...
Well, what Dan would tell me, he goes, you know, I'd sit there and I'd be listening to like the Beastie Boys and stuff with my friends, and then they'd all leave. He goes, and then I'd put on Dead Reckoning, you know, and
Yeah.
just sitting there, lay there, listening to some acoustic Dead. So, because he was constantly exposed to it from across the hall, you know.
No, listen, older brother's influence. My older brother gave me acid. He gave me, you know, he just took me to my first Dead, you know, like, so, like, that's, you know, like,
Yeah.
you're all brothers too, and it's like a different thing. Having an older brother definitely changed. You know, I have 2 children. My oldest son was, I'm glad he didn't have an older brother, you know what I mean? Because they're a good influence in a way, but they're also...
They're just an influence, whether it's good or bad. I mean, I
yeah,
have 2
I've-
younger brothers, and I'm just thinking about a lot of stories I could tell about how I influenced both my brothers, and the first time this and the first time that. It's like, oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm thinking about talking about my brother Joe and how bad he did me, but you know, I'm not going to do that.
You don't
Just
get
kidding.
personal
No.
like that. And
No,
stuff.
I wouldn't
but
do that
anyway,
to my
so
brother.
you know, we
just kidding.
started doing that, and then next thing you know, it's like, hey man, it's the summer of '91, and there's a mixtape of Phish. You know, I was on the Dead, and I was like, oh, what is this Reba? What is this? Like, what is these jammy things? And it was different.
What was
So-
your first show for Phish? Oh, you said
91, yeah, the Worcester Auditorium New Year's show.
Yeah,
but
yeah, you did
I
say
was
that.
so out of it, we left. Me and my brother's friend Curtis Dude, we walked out. We missed the whole last set because we thought it was over. We were like, our mind was so blown.
That's
like,
it.
Like we're like,
Show's
so we're
done.
in the car for like 45 minutes. The 2 of us out in Worcester, we're like, what's going on? And you're like, where's everyone? Like, where's all the crowds? And he's like, there must have been another set. And I was like, oh my god. And then we started walking out, you know. And I was like, so.
Yeah, especially for a New Year's show, they would have probably
I think it was like a third encore, you know,
Yeah.
like so we missed
like a
30 yeah.
song encore kind of thing.
So and he had the Beavis and Butthead box, you know, and Mike's mom had just made the background, so it was like, oh, Mike's mom made the background, and some kid was like snuck in dressed as a nun, like running. It was crazy, dude. It was good. You know, I was like 15. It was good. My mom's like, where are you at? What are you doing? I was like, it's the 90s. They didn't care.
So what did you say the guy said? Well, because that guy sneaking in like that. So we wanted to talk a bit about like the fans, right?
Yeah.
So, because to me, you know, sure, I followed the Dead and I saw some pretty wild stuff, but like once I got to Phish, I started seeing completely different types of wild stuff.
As crazy and wild, or just different?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Good answer.
yeah.
Say no
Phish
more.
doesn't espouse any political view. Like the Dead were counterculture. Phish is just prog rock that has a lot of like now I think the newer stuff that Trey does, Love and all that, but early Phish was like dark and
I found him to
King
be
Crimson-y.
really
Yeah,
Zappa.
King Crimson-y, definitely.
I found him to be very Zappa influenced.
I hear Santana throughout. Like Carlos is like Trey always sounded like Carlos to me, like ding, the high notes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So do you guys get annoyed when people are like, "Oh yeah, Phish"? I heard that once. It was called the Grateful Dead. Do you get it? And I was actually talking to a homeowner today with my job about because he followed the Dead, and I was like, "Yeah, we're actually doing a podcast tonight on Phish." He's like, "Yeah, I never really got into them. I think they kind of just rode the coattails of the Dead." And what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, me personally, I found that I had friends who tried to get me into it because they knew I was a Deadhead. I started to listen to them, and these guys don't even sound like the Dead to me at all.
I don't think.
Other than the fact that they had this enormous following and there was crossover fans,
Right.
And that they jammed songs out, they stretched them out.
Yeah.
Their
That's
style didn't sound at all like it to me, and they really did with the real kind of complex time signatures and funny lyrics, stuff
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
nerdy prog rock.
It
I
sounded
agree,
like
yeah.
Zappa to me. So
Yeah,
that's,
I mean, you got Grateful Dead. You're talking more like rooted in folk, in blues, and roots Americana. You hear that a lot with the Grateful Dead. You don't really hear that with Phish. You hear
Wow.
more of the funk.
There is that whole because they're basically they're in their middle 60s, right? So they're past the counterculture, right? So their pop culture references are bigger than the Dead's pop culture references.
they're all right around the same age as me, actually.
They have much longer pop culture reference, and they're more like Gen X sensibility, like the nuclear winter's coming, like Red Dawn kind of world, like it's all about me, latch kid house, latch kid keys. The Dead are a completely different sort of mindset.
It's just a different generation.
Yeah, like boomers are selfish. I'll say it right now. I'll say it on like this whole thing, dude. Like all our problems.
I'm not a boomer.
I know, but I mean, like as a true Gen Xer, I'm all set with. I'm over your culture wars, dude. Let's move on and and Phish doesn't try to be political. People try to like everything else.
Right, everything's
People
politicized.
project what they want Phish to be, and Phish is just a prog rock band, dude. They're just a
Sweet.
rock band.
I like that.
It's just rock and roll. Like I told my son, I took him to his first show in Manchester, and I'm like, "This is what white kids do on Saturday night, son." And he's like, "Wow."
Well, and I hear a lot of jazz in their stuff too.
Jazz, yeah.
One of the things that we started the intro with is an early version, I think late 80s Phish doing Take the A Train.
Yeah.
So that was that clip at the beginning. And, just to kind of, because there's plenty of that. I've seen some of Trey's, like his side band Bad Hat, which really did a lot of jazz staples, so they were a lot of fun. So that kind of stuff really attracted me. That and it was really danceable.
They're all over the place, influence-wise. Like that's kind of like what I was like early Grateful Dead to me sounds very punk rock, like the heavy blues stuff, like Pigpen's.
The
sounds
drummers
like
too. The
like
drummers,
a metal band,
yeah.
It's like, and then they kind of after the '60s they got a little less, a little more.
Yeah, I liked the dark, dirty late
Early
60s
ones,
stuff,
yeah.
man.
It's some of that stuff's
A
like
head
holy
full of
moly,
acid
dude.
and a dark room and some weird music.
Yeah. So I was telling people like sometimes I could actually taste like the taste of blotter in my mouth.
That metallic.
Like the acid taste. I don't know. Have you done, Eric? Would you do?
I have. I was more of like mushrooms and not so much that.
They're having their day. Mushrooms are back.
Yes,
Yeah,
well,
sure
the psilocybin
They're having a moment right now, mushrooms.
Psilocybin has
so.
been able to be
Yeah.
isolated, synthetically recreated, so in order to make studies easier, and the amount of stuff it's been able to help with addiction studies, with PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing stuff.
The critical window that it creates for rewiring the brain and brain plasticity, and
We co-evolved with mushrooms because the mycelium network pretty much controls 90% of the planet. I'm not even throwing out things because, my ex-wife always just say, Chris throws out these statistics and it'll be like 99% of it's like made up. And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
dude,
but 93% of all statistics are made up anyway.
Yeah, but I'm like,
50%
and they'll be
of
like,
the time.
and then they'll like,
Yeah.
and my kids be like, I'm like, Google it, dude. Like, look it up if you don't believe me. Like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
no, absolutely.
But we're entwined, right? And mushrooms, I think.
Mycelium's kind of like a
it's the first
communication
it's the
network
first
for the
internet.
rest of
It's
the
the
world.
stoned ape theory, Terrence McNamara.
Right,
When we go
right.
into that, sounded like Joe Rogan. Like, do you think? Like, of course I think, dude. But I was like, okay. Here's another argument. I was like, how do you think they figured out like stars? Like, how long were people like? And my buddy Bill, who's a really weird, like, awesome guy, goes, it was probably a game. Someone like put a rock down where the sun was one day, and then the next day there was a sunspot.
Right.
They put a rock down and like through play. So he firmly believes that humans learn best through
playing
Well,
creativity.
it was the only television
It was
they
an
had at night
observation.
anyways.
Yeah, what else are you going to look at?
But
The
it was like
fire,
that
the
observational
sky?
thing. It's like, okay, so you eat some mushrooms, all of a sudden, like,
Everything expands.
Yeah.
And it's more than just that.
Yeah,
and what are
all
we
of a
going to do
sudden-
with this? And what does it mean? And how is it a part of who we are?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
then you
something like
begin to things like, so I was under the influence of some sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
And going back to fans, I ended up writing, you know what it was Ecstasy. And I say that because I just remember the name of the poem's called Ecstasy because I wrote it right after the show. But it was 94, summer of 94, when they played down at Great Woods and did the full Gamehenge thing.
Yeah, that's fun.
And the second, and I had like second row seats for the whole show, so I actually went to my seat that time.
Of course.
And
Great.
and I'm up front in the second set, and they start doing Yem, and in the middle of the jam, they start sliding into Frankenstein. And it was at that point that I was just grooving and dancing, and I looked down the aisle, and at the other end there's this girl, and her face is painted, and I hope she hears this. I wrote this poem right after seeing you,
I know this poem.
and her face
Is it a
is.
long poem? Do you want to? Can you read it to us?
I'd have to pull it up on my
Oh,
phone
you
if you guys
remember?
don't mind me doing that.
No,
Well,
Yeah.
we could keep talking. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
This is the one with like Frankenstein.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a seven
Well,
stanza,
so
like, is it like a Homeric epic, like.
well, that's
you
it's
stand
going to be
up.
like a Kerouac book.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. I
Okay,
like
so
it.
the next 32 minutes is the
Yeah,
poem, and then we'll
rest of the
intro
show
out
is
for the
the
night.
poem.
It's
Why don't you
over.
guys go grab a coffee and come back in a bit? All right,
Dave's
you ready?
giving us his poem.
Yeah, here we go. Wow, you pulled that up quick. Nice job.
I just typed in the word ecstasy. It's the only thing on my phone with that word in
There
it.
you
It
go.
was scripted, by the way.
Title of it's ecstasy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Matilda Green Frankenstein lover. Spectacular aurora borealis. Where do the colors fly? In my eyes, in the sky, on lightning bolts like glorious steeds, they gallop through my mind, touching, feeling, sensing awe, wrapped in cobalt, blue steel grin. My powder keg thoughts release again.
Wow. It's like Robert Hunter-esque John Barlow.
Yeah, he's a huge influence. But so I look down the aisle, and there's this girl with just her face painted green, and she's wearing a top hat with like a big friggin' daisy right in the middle of it. And she's just grooving in on the music. And the first thing that went flying through my head was Matilda Green Frankenstein lover. And I was like, cool. And as soon as I got...
Did you write that down there, or just...
I
stuck
kept
with
that
it?
in my mind. I had half the poem in my head by the time I left.
So you're like Jay-Z. You know Jay-Z doesn't write down, he memorizes all
crazy.
his lyrics.
I have two different types of writing styles, but one of them is it churns in my head and then goes to paper.
Yeah.
And the other one is I just keep looking at it on paper and writing. But anyway,
That's a good poem.
so you've got these people just showing up at shows, like, painted and stuff. And then I went to my first Halloween show, right? Fall of 94.
The White Album one.
The White
I
Album.
lost my mind at that show for like 6 months.
I found your mind.
Lost your mind at that show for 6 months.
Yeah, because I didn't eat enough LSD. There's such a thing where I just ate enough to be paranoid, but not enough to enjoy myself. So
That was a long night too.
that was a really not fun. But I learned a lot because, like there's a whole subreddit group about like going dark on your psychedelic journeys. Like they intentionally want to go dark because
Really?
because it's the hero journey, right? You
Right,
have to
yeah.
go into the cave and like be reborn.
Yeah.
But when you're going
Find the
through that
treasure you seek.
anxiety, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not
No,
fun.
it's
It was a rough night, and I was too
we're-
young and too emotionally invested in people. Didn't know myself enough, and it really set me back. People didn't want to hang out with me because they're like, "Here comes Crazy Chris," and I was like, I wasn't. But like it's the sublime, right? Like you experience something. It's complicated.
And, I was sitting here giggling a little bit about psychedelics, but it's really important to put out there that
Use with
not all
caution.
trips are not.
Use with caution.
Yeah, I think I heard Bob Weir one time say, it's not all fun and games. Sometimes you got to work some shit out.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
my story just about every single time. That's usually
I-
the typical scene for me.
Paranoia.
The arc of
lot
my
of darkness.
psychedelic use, the second half of it was purposeful and internal journey stuff.
Yeah.
The first half was, woo. And then I realized it wasn't just a party drug,
Oh no, I never thought of it as the party.
I never did either. I
It kind of was presented to me that way a little bit, and the people I was hanging out with.
Same here, but I always wanted to like leave the group and like go out in the woods and be by myself or like hang out with a tree for a few hours.
Like my first trip was like in 1980.
Yeah.
So, there's that. We were still able to get microdots.
I've done some dots.
Yeah. Anyway, so
We could go down the rabbit hole
Yeah.
of psychedelic use. It's my psychedelic use was pre-Phish, so I was always approached Phish like, this is cool, and then 6 shows in, no, I think 3 shows in, I was oh my god, this is another level. Like this is transcendence. But if you really had to describe what Phish has become for a lot of people, it's like a mystical experience, right? Like so, how do you describe God? Right? It's the collective humanity, right? Collective energy and love is what I think is the transcending force in the world, right? Like the constant in the universe is this energy of love, right? And yin and yang. You breathe in when you're born and you breathe out when you die, and that's life, dude. That's it. There's two states of being, the yin and the yang. The light of breath in and the death of breath out. And that's kind of like where I approach my Phish shows, kind of in a sense, like it's almost transcendent. Like I don't even need, I could close my eyes. I've been to enough Phish shows where I could actually see what the lights look like at night. Like so, and they're just growing and they're becoming better musicians. And I sometimes like the newer stuff, the old stuff, because I'm like, it's not 1992 for me anymore. Like
Right.
these gentlemen, I've grown, but people like
The hits.
the hits, right? So it's like, they haven't played this song in 720 shows, and I was like, I was there in Deer Creek when they played it, and I was like, I'm not chasing anything.
I know a lot of
and they always make
chasers.
fun of like 1.0 fans. It's
well, what do you mean by I'm not chasing anything?
there's no songs I'm missing, dude.
So what do you mean by that? I mean, we're trying to talk to people
Okay.
a little bit about that part
Well,
too.
it's sort of like the great dead cultures that social media has made it worse. But like when I first started seeing Phish, it was like, okay, we kept set lists and we'd write the songs down, and you try to keep track of the shows in the middle, and then you would start to get paranoid because you didn't know what was going on. And now I'm like, I don't.
And you had to be there like every night because they play something different
They
every
do.
night.
They play different every night for sure because they have 350 songs that they can pick from, and they don't have to repeat songs, so it's a different show every time. But
And then there's, everything else that they've brought on board through like. So the Halloween thing that we were talking about was
Yes.
Phish will take an album and they will dress up as another band for Halloween, and they will
put
play
on a
an
musical
album
costume.
in its entirety.
Yes.
So this Halloween show we're talking about that played the White Album, Phish came out, they did their normal first set. It was a long one.
Yes.
And then they left, they came back and they did the entire Beatles White Album, which is a double album, including all the little gibbering and everything in between the
Vibration
songs.
of Death. Yeah. Right? And then I was like, what? And then it was like, oh, blah, dee, blah, da. And I'm like having flashbacks to being like my mom's like in my car seat, my mom driving, because it was all Beatles songs. And it was just not And I've actually listened to the White Album quite a bit afterwards. Happiness is a Warm Gun. I'm so tired. All those songs are amazing, even though people say the White Album's crap. They don't get it, but it was an amazing job what those guys did.
Yeah.
Looking back at it.
I think what I was talking about mostly was the fact that every time they did this, they of course had to learn all this stuff. And so now they're walking around with even more songs in their back pocket to pull out at any given time. You know, While My Guitar Gently Weeps shows up a lot.
Do they bust out a lot of covers like that?
Yeah.
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 They did
Randomly?
they covered the Talking Heads. I should have made a list of Halloween costumes. My favorite was Disney's Haunted Sounds and Musical, because I had that vinyl record when I was a kid and I was obsessed with it. And the cover,
Disney's.
Yeah, Haunted Houses, and Vincent Price is on there. He's like, oh, the spooky old tree, or hounds, and it's like,
I've never heard it.
That's a
And
really,
Phish did that.
They covered that whole album in Vegas.
Yeah, they did, what was Talking Heads? Remain in Light?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
did
did
Rolling
that.
Stones.
Didn't they do Dark Side of the Moon or no?
Not yet.
No,
Oh,
they
did.
teased it before they did the White Album.
No. Oh, really?
They actually had the heartbeat and everything.
Oh, my
So you're
God.
trying to guess what it was going to be, and
That show, Fishman took off his dress. And I
I've
saw
heard
him
about
naked.
that.
I was right there.
So this
When
is
I say
what
I was
thought
right
about the
there, I was
experience
like-
I'm like, this is a regular happy-go-lucky Phish show, and I was in like the third level of Dante's Hell for like 3 hours, because again, I don't know what I was thinking. I was young. It's like the one thing I would say is like it's all.
I
Music.
was right in front of the stage when he disrobed,
Oh my god.
and I was like, "Oh man, I'm too close for this," I had a blast during intermission. My friend Torquay and I were whipping marshmallows into the audience because we were on the floor, so we were just running around and.
You know what won the costume was the Mound costume, right? He went as the Mound candy bar
Yeah, so
for the song.
people dress up at these
Mounds
things.
They-
got
yeah, they had
nuts.
costume.
Almond Joy don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. Right?
Yeah.
But they had a song called Mound.
Oh, all right.
So there was a first Halloween costume competition,
Yeah.
and the Mound candy bar won.
Okay.
So you're looking at an arena full of people.
Everyone's
three
dressed
quarters
up.
of 3/4 of them are dressed up, right? Like I knew I was going to be boogieing all night, so I didn't want to dress up, but I wanted to dress up. So I went and I bought a few containers of fluff, and I made myself a hat out of fluff containers. So I had a fluff hat, and I go in early, and like we get our chocolate coins, and they were giving out all kinds of cool little treats, and in comes this giant fluff. And he comes walking over to me, and we're kind of goofing off and blah, blah, blah. And then later on, the show starts, and fucking giant fluff I was messing around with comes out with a guitar. Turns out it was Trey.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I couldn't have told. I mean, it was just a big fluff.
Yeah. Well, that's a different time then, dude.
Yeah. And so,
Smaller band. I saw them at the Portsmouth Music Hall. They used to play at the Colonial Keen. We're talking.
Yep.
And it was just different. Like
yeah, I mean, my first show was
someone's backyard.
Townsend Family Park.
Yeah.
With the giant country horns.
And then piggyback to the comparison to Grateful Dead, we were always like, it's our New England thing. It's a New England Northeast thing, right?
Yeah, it's
like,
Vermont. They're all from.
Yeah,
like
like
UVM.
Mike's from Massachusetts, Trey's from New Jersey, Northeast. Fishman, I think is from Maine. I don't know where Fishman's from or whatever,
Yeah, I don't know.
But Page is also Jersey or something like that. So they're all, and the Dead were so West Coast.
Yeah, right.
You'd see Phish so often in a spring tour. It was a lot easier to get tickets. They'd play UNH because they found a niche in the college market from 90 to 2000, and they literally got fans for life because,
Yeah, because I started following them in '91.
following. That's another thing you need to explain.
Yeah, well, so you would literally go from show to show to show because they play a different thing every night. One, you want to try and see all the different songs. And because they play without a net, per se.
Without a net.
Without a net. This is live. This is not rehearsed
Oh,
songs
yeah,
that
well,
are being repeated.
Yeah.
They're jamming, they're improvising,
Yeah.
and sometimes you screw up.
Oh, yeah.
And
Good old
sometimes
train wrecks.
absolute magic happens.
Right.
Right? So you want to be there when the absolute magic happens, And so we started going from show to show to show. And at the same time, I was going from dead show to dead show to dead show. And Phish was just cheaper and easier. And, you could just show up night of and get in. And
Remember Dan was like, when Dead played Highgate, he went to Phish instead.
Yeah.
And Phish busted out a bunch of songs. And the first Highgate was the first Highgate, which was, for me, I thought it was a good Dead show. I've seen a bunch of Garden shows.
Yeah.
The Boston Garden Dead shows are good. But, like, again, people project what they want, you know. At that point, people were projecting, like, Papa Jerry. And Jerry's like, dude, I'm just a rock and roller, dude. I don't want that.
Right.
To
The
make
guy
me-
died from cigarettes, milkshakes, and cheeseburgers.
Yeah, probably from speedballing for 20 years.
It was his heart.
I don't think,
I mean,
I
quite honestly,
don't think it was the cheeseburgers and the smoking. It was the
That was-
cocaine and the heroin mix.
he
Speedball.
died because of his heart.
Yeah, but cocaine definitely.
That
leads
doesn't
to
help.
It doesn't help.
heart
Doesn't help.
disease.
I'm just saying, like, it was blockage.
So
Yeah,
I
no.
so I've never gone on tour with any band.
Yeah.
I've listened to Phish. I've listened to the Grateful Dead. I'm not a Deadhead. I'm not a fanatic of anything really. When you say
I don't know about that.
what's that?
I said, I don't know about that, you know, not being a fanatic.
Well, I'm a fanatic of certain things, but not specifically like a band. You know what I mean? I've never gotten in, and I have friends that
Now he said fanatic. PH.
Yeah, exactly.
PHANK.
So,
Fanatic,
But my question about going on tour with
Fanatic.
you Phish guys.
No, because it's I speak Greek and it's an actual letter. It's not a PH. In Greek, it's the phi sound. It's actually one letter. Like TH2 is th. It's one letter. English is the most absurd language in the world.
It is.
Oh, American English especially.
Just the way they put word structures together.
So I'm going to ask the question. So what does it mean to like go on tour from show to show? How are you talking?
So you
Like
go,
during the week, you're still working and you're
no,
going.
it's your vacation. So you go on
Alright.
vacation to see the band. So now it's been.
I would save up my vacation
Other
time
bands
to
have
tour.
taken. They'll do Mexico. Like or do like Coachella, or they'll do Burning Man, or whatever. Like, or what's the one down in Tennessee? Bonnaroo, right?
Yeah.
So those are festivals, 3-4 day festivals. So Phish, you don't necessarily have to follow, but in 1990, like Dan and Pooj, he's just getting me mad. I call him Pooj. Chad, our friend Chad, and Johnny K, and all them. They all did Dead tour and Phish tour. I only did tour once in '97, like a full tour, and I left.
What's a full tour? What's the time?
I basically hit like 12 shows. Not a full tour would be all of summer tour, every single, but it was a pretty good. Like we went from New Hampshire all the way to St. Louis to Chicago, and back to Maine to see it, and then we drove down to Florida 2000 to see him for New Year's. I've seen him in Portland, Oregon. I've seen him in Denver, Colorado. I've seen him all over. There's not a stadium in Northeast I haven't seen him in.
Yeah, and the other thing too that goes with that is all the stuff that happens on the road.
That's what I'm curious about.
In
Is
the
like
hotel rooms, out in the parking lots.
when you're going on tour with them, are you typically with the same crew of people going from show to show? Do you like meet up with new people?
Depends. Like we were young, dude. Like we were all in college, or we had like it wasn't like I wouldn't go on tour now. There's people that do it that are our age that have like a side business, and like
They kind of like make so
I
they go
sell
on tour
grilled
and make
cheese.
money
Everyone
there.
that was on Shakedown Street selling wares, they're trying to pay their tour people. Like so, when I did it, we were selling veggie burritos and Sammy Smiths and then Jaeger shots.
And that's how you survive,
some-
like financially.
Well, yeah, it would be gas money. And then every third night we'd stay at a hotel. And I remember we were all at the hotel and I don't even know, watch Kingpin. It was like the first time we had all seen it. It was so hilarious, because it was a nice break. And then one night we slept in a random state park because we were using maps then. It was like 97.
Yeah, it was before
Right.
GPS
You
and
know?
stuff. Yeah, MapQuest.
Pre-MapQuest. We had a map.
Pre-MapQuest.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it was
paper map.
paper map, like a foldable
Yeah.
map.
Yeah, and
I
you
know
had to
people know how to
fold it.
read those. Yeah.
At night, while you're tripping, in the back seat of the car.
Oh, we got stopped in St. Louis. They made us take all the stuff out of the car. It was whatever. It was okay. It's just like Jerry used to always say, it's like running away. You can't run away to the circus, but you can run away to the Grateful Dead. And that's really what Phish, the comparison of Phish to the Grateful Dead. You're running away to a circus, right? It's a different kind of circus. It's more like Cirque du Soleil versus, P.T. Barnum's.
Why do
right?
people want to run away to the circus, do you think?
Because
Like,
there's no
symbolically?
adventure in the world. Dude.
Right.
Every song of the it's about feeling alive and having a sense of adventure. People are so.
Can you imagine if people at work would just get up and start dancing like they do at a show at work because their favorite song came on? I mean, like, a lot of people do not celebrate that way in their lives.
No.
No fuego. You know, she's like, I always whenever see like any of the Spanish people, I'm like, you know what's wrong with gringos? I'm like, no fuego, dude. They're all just so like they're not emotional about stuff. Like, I cannot be mad about this. And I'm Greek, dude. I'm like Mediterranean. Like
self-expressive and
No,
animated.
even at work, they'll be like, "You're using your Greek voice again."
Your Greek voice.
What do you mean Greek voice? It's just a voice, but like, there's passion to existence, right? Like, you know, it's just like so. I think that people lack that. Phish kind of gives them that.
Do you think when people go to a show like that, they wake up a little bit to themselves and their own creativity? Because I think I've witnessed that before.
Yes. That could change you, but that's also not, you know, necessarily it's Phish's thing. It's your own internal thing.
Right.
It's like that line for Ripple. No one may follow if you go alone. Like it's such an esoteric thing, even though it's a collective experience. The exact experience is esoteric. The collective experience is one of union, right? Mm-hmm. So, without like the satanic, like, you know, eat my bread and drink my, you know, blood and all those other references.
Well, that's, you know, I mean, the community part.
I was just gonna go there, yeah.
Yeah, because I was a weird kid, a weird adult.
Play D&D?
No, not that kind of weird.
Well, that Game Hedge is based on Dungeons and Dragons, though.
Okay, no, but I'm like, you know what it's like talking to me, and I sit there and constantly fucking goof off, and my hands are flying everywhere. Yeah, imagine that in a teenager, you know?
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I was able to go to this place where that was all right, man. As a matter of fact, that was pretty damn boring compared to what I was around. And man, I could just finally be me. And so when I let loose, I kind of let looser than most, but you know, it was nice to have a place where I could do that, you know?
So you had no Catholic guilt. So I had a lot of Greek guilt. Like,
yeah,
what would my mother think? And I'm like, you know, like a field tripping my ass off, being like, my mom would be disappointed in me if I, you know, like, it's like, thanks for bringing me up with like baggage, Mom. And I was, you know, with my kids, I was like, just don't. I mean,
I spent half my childhood grounded. So I mean, yeah, it was kind of like part of the experience. Yeah. It was baked in at that point. I didn't care. It didn't stop me then. It didn't stop me when I got older and moved out, you know?
No, I always had that little voice. It took me a long time to get rid of that little nagging.
That sucker's still in there a little bit for me every once in a while.
My mom's always whispering in my ear, figuratively and literally.
Well, mine's at least dead. I mean, no. Sorry, Mom. I just, you know, I like to bring her in every once in a while. Yeah. We do this at home, too.
I knew Dave's mom quite well. We'd go over our Christmas. They would, after your Christmases, we'd always go over there for Christmas night.
Well, my wife was asking who was coming tonight. I'm like, I'm telling you, you remember them from Christmas at my parents and stuff. You know, it's just...
Yeah, so it was a long time ago. Your kids were super little.
Yeah, that's not the case anymore.
I think it was with my ex-wife we'd come over, with Tina.
Probably, yeah. And so what would happen is my parents just had the door open for friends, family, friends of their kids, everybody. And it was just open. Come as you are. You can bring if you want. You don't have to. Plenty of food, plenty of drink. You know, music in one room, presents in another. That doesn't exist anymore.
That does not exist in today's world. As much as it should. I'm sure it does, but it's not commonplace like it was. I grew up in the 80s. You guys are a bit older than me, but not much. I'm Gen X. I'm young Gen X, but I'm
the lost one. I'm in between the boomers.
I'm 76. I'll be 50 this year. I just look amazing.
I'm
for a 50-year-old. No, I'm just kidding. Wait, we're on camera. Sorry. I got a face for radio, they say.
I'm 78. I was born in 78.
All right. Yeah, so you are definitely. You look great too, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think so.
Nobody's complimenting me. I don't know why.
I was gonna say that you're a nice combination of your mother and your father. We're all.
I definitely got my dad's beard.
Yeah.
Not my mom's beard.
But I think that's what's missing. I think that's what's missing in today's world in general is just like a sense of community and like, I don't know. That's probably, to me, what really attracted, the music's great and all that, but the culture and the fact that you're in community and you're able to be like, fully self-expressed in who you are and not worry about anything like that. That's an attractive scene for anybody.
How surprised were you when you ran into me in Manchester?
Not that surprised.
Exactly. Like all of a sudden it's like you get there and you're like, man, there's all these folks that I haven't seen in a while. We're going to run into each other and stuff. You know you're going to see people.
Yeah.
It's a community, but it's a roaming one.
My apartment was 5 minutes from the show. I mean, I wouldn't do a 3-night run, and I took my girlfriend, I took my son, I was going to take my daughter, but it didn't work out because she didn't want to go without my son, and then I got in tickets, and then I ended up having so next time I know, I get tickets for both of them. But she came down to Shakedown Street with her friend and was like, hey, this is interesting.
How would you compare Shakedown Street like today at a Phish show versus like back in the 90s? Similar, drastically different, evolved?
I think the all willies in their wares, to quote Trey, the swaggy guys, the products has changed, like what they're selling,
The swaggy guys.
I mean, when I started, it wasn't even called Shakedown Street.
No, it wasn't. It was just called
the
lot.
The parking lot,
Yeah.
and it wasn't all in one spot. You had to wander around to find different things.
Yeah.
Nitrous has become so ubiquitous at all concerts, not just Phish. Like the young kids love Nitrous. And for us, it was like a once in a blue moon thing. It wasn't ever like the driving force. Like I was like,
It wasn't like what they call it as hippie crack.
No, it was, but it wasn't like the amount you'd have to seek it out.
You couldn't just like walk into a head shop and buy it like you can now.
I saw advertisements on Facebook for whippet companies that sell you
During
cartridges
the Victorian
and shit.
age, they used to have nitrous parties, and they'd have the ha 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 like.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, they had just
really?
discovered
At
it
laudanum parties with the opiates.
Oh, yeah.
They would like cannabis infused
They had
beverages.
when they
nitrous
first
back
discovered
then?
nitrous and was prior to I think even using it as
Mozart.
an anesthetic.
Mozart was.
They used it as a social lubricant.
No, I mean I can see that.
It would be in like little bags, and they
Yeah.
would like push it out. It's weird.
Unless, of course, like my friend Mark back in the day literally fell backwards, passed out, landed on a board with a nail sticking up right in his coccyx, and actually had to pull it off.
Oh, jeez.
I've never actually been. Nitrous has never made me dizzy. We're running out of time though. Do I feel like are we covering
we're
enough
good.
for the
No, we were
comments?
going to talk about fandom.
Oh,
we talked
I
a
talk
little
about
bit.
fandom. So I do think that social media is ruining bands and phone use at concerts. Like I get it. Like I shot that video right, like a little bit, but it was at the right time. I wasn't like in someone's face, but
Right.
the amount of like Instagram things and like how it's like, are you really dressing up for, like. It's like the influencer. How many followers can I get? How can Phish chicks this thick? Everything's subgenred, right? And like, you were just ahead, but the style becomes so like you look at teenagers now, right? They're all kind of look the same because they're getting the same sort of Instagram feed. It's really hard to be
Unique.
So
I don't
even
know,
the
there's-
uniqueness of Phish is going away because everyone's trying so hard to be unique that they're actually starting
They're
to be
conforming
to being unique.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, I'm like enjoy the moment. Like it's not
I
about
kind of grew up through the 70s and the 80s, and I wear jeans and a T-shirt, so
that's
that was kind of the style. But I know what you're saying.
It's almost like the whole social media influence. Like people are trying too hard to make a point or to.
or like 1.0 versus 2.0.
What's
Phish.
1.0 versus what is that?
Because they broke up.
Okay.
And then there was Phish 2.0, and then now they're 3.0. It's like they have because a lot of obviously computer guys were really into Phish, so they started out on the internet early, and they were like part of message boards, and they had all these internet-based things. But now it's been I feel like it's very.
Well, do you remember? Do they
very
remember
wet.
Yeah.
It's very. Not everything, but it feels somewhat curated.
Okay.
Like it doesn't feel as organic as it used to.
Well, do you
Not
remember
that it was ever organic, because LSD is. I mean, it's a compound, but it's an organic compound, right?
I think it's synthesized. Ooh.
From ergot.
Yeah, but it's not like, say, for example, mescaline or mushrooms or something that come as you are kind of thing.
Oh, he said
That would be
yeah,
organic.
I thought he took it out. Anyways, it's just like when you took rosewood seeds, remember, and you soak them in alcohol, then turn to powder, and you can make a mild psychedelic out of those.
But that was Morning Glories.
Morning
You could do
glory
that with
seeds.
morning glory too, yeah.
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 So
But I was I forgot what it. Oh, the chess, like when they would do the chess stuff.
oh, God, I was not a good chess player. They did the
But
whole
back
chess
in
thing, yeah.
the
What do you mean
message
a
board
chess thing?
days,
they had a chess game during some spring tour where they were playing against the fans, and the fans could actually post the move.
So the fans were on the message boards. They would figure out who was going to do the move for the fans.
No kidding.
And what the move would be.
They
Then they would call the person up. Person would move the piece on the giant board because they'd roll this board out onto the stage. Fan would move. Band would move. They'd roll it back off.
See, that's so creative, and I think that's back to the social media piece and technology and all that. I think that that's just ruining humanity's creativity in general. Like everything's too easily accessible to press a button, get a dopamine hit that like you don't see as much of that like spontaneous, like playing chess with the crowd. Like you don't see that shit anymore.
And they did Big Ball Jam back then, which, sounds like crap if you listen to it, but it was a lot of fun. They had these giant beach balls, and they had 3 of them. So the drummer would just play something, and then the 3 balls would get thrown out, and you'd have to figure out whose ball was whose, and you'd only find it out by, like, say you grabbed the ball and wiggled it, and then Trey would go, and then we know, and then you'd try and play music by playing the balls around, and really it just sounded like
cool.
a mess.
I haven't done that in a long time.
Simple.
But it was
creative
fun
coolness.
when you were there.
I remember that one. Jesus, wow.
Yeah, it was fun when you were there.
Well, like
but,
during Harry Hood, they throw like the glow sticks. That's annoying because you're like, oh, my head.
Oh yeah, there'd be just these like giant waves of glow sticks going down from the balcony to the floor. Just huge wars of glow sticks.
You don't see that anymore. You can't even buy a bottled water with the cap on it anymore to show because they're afraid you're going to throw stuff.
No, they let
This
us in
crowd's
with,
different, dude. They're not worried about like
They're not as worried,
mansion.
yeah.
It's not. We're not going to do anything stupid because I do think they police themselves pretty good.
So I actually set up at the last Fish serving kava, and it seemed like the city of Manchester was a little like, you're doing your own thing. They kind of backed off. I even talked to someone in the city, and they were like, yeah, we're going to just kind of let it be the way it is. Real simple licensure with like, your permits and everything, but they were not enforcing anything that hard. I think because they know that like the Fish crowd is its own culture, its own policed, self-policed thing.
First night they just let us through the door. They didn't even touch us. And by the third night they were checking you over pretty good though.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
I don't.
I still had my memory intact when I went in that night, so it's stuck there.
Sunday was good too. All the nights were great. It was nice but like I said, I'd rather it not be a trip down memory lane where I'm like, oh, it's
Just a new experience.
Yeah.
Like the 8. Because I don't really listen to Fish unless I'm at Fish anymore. Because if I listen to like 4 hours of Fish, then I'm right back in it. I don't know if that happens to you. Like,
well,
it happens to me
your
with pretty much
associative mind
every
goes
band.
back into like
I just
the
start
past.
getting all jammy and like it's just like it's like differently. It's almost like listening to chants. Like it has a certain, and it just.
Yeah.
Takes you over. It's got its own frequency.
My dogs can tell when I start to get into that mode because they show up in the kitchen and start dancing with me and like jumping up and stuff. It might be because of the treats, but I think it's because they love me.
Nothing, Trey has reached that level like Bug. Like I'm obsessed with Bug. It doesn't matter, Bug. And then going to the jam, and I'm like always like, dude, Bug. And it's that, I can't even do the lick, but it's like, I'm on Bug. Or like during COVID, everything all right. All the time. And then Evolve, which I think they did play Evolve, right? Did they play Evolve one of the nights? It was like a Trey Band song that they started playing, but like...
I think so.
That was like one of my most played songs on when I was using YouTube Music. Because at the end of the year, they're like, Evolved! And I was like, over and over again. My kids even knew it. Like, I know this one. But it's weird. But they're newer songs. Bug's not, that's off of Farmhouse,
right.
But Water in the Sky, they played that. That's a great song. I always liked that song.
Yeah, it's like my son Pete walking around the house singing Fire on the Mountain.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, all my children know Alice's Restaurant a little too well.
Is that this Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that and, my son's middle name is Arlo. So, I'm a big fan of his.
Can get
My first
whatever
show.
you want, at Alice's restaurant.
My first show was Arlo Guthrie and Pete Seeger.
Oh man,
So-
we're going. Children, Puff the Magic Dragon. In case you didn't know, Pete Seeger.
That's
That's
not
the other
Pete
guy.
Seeger. Yeah, no, that's the
Peter Paul Mary.
Yeah.
Peter Paul and Mary.
But who wrote Puff the Magic Dragon? I thought it was written by Pete Seeger.
Was it?
He wrote a bunch of songs.
Well, yeah, he wrote a bunch of songs. I'm just not sure that's one.
Are
of
we
them.
allowed to check? Do we have like? Can we check this?
Who do you think is Joe Rogan?
We're not. We'll
we
prove
spot
it later.
check this
If you
in
get
the-
home,
in the-
check on it. Yell at the screen while we're doing this, and
Next time we'll have like a live chat. People can like
the CNN feed going on.
like
Oh,
live
you
chat questions while you're on there. Whoever's watching could like
wanna- They're like,
Interactive.
Jimmy from Indiana wants to know what was the worst experience you ever had at a Phish show.
did you ever trip and go to Plaid?
That's good.
But no, that'd be cool to have like a little.
That would be
now
really
that
cool.
you know, it's
I
just,
think
like,
you just did a great
Well, you
fake
know,
impression.
we're gonna have to bring
of
you.
it.
We're gonna have to bring you
we
back
can make
for that.
up questions
in
just,
general.
but you can make up your own
Oh
questions.
no, we are getting a question right now.
Yeah.
This is from Edith in Oaks Bluff, Tascanoot, West Columbia. I don't know, like, British, you know. It's like the whole sweaty balls skit. Thank you for. I listen to Fresh Air a lot. And sometimes she's great.
Carrie Gross.
Carrie
Yeah.
Gross is awesome, you know.
Yeah, she just posted that thing of her getting interviewed for her 50th anniversary. I don't know if you listened to that one.
Who interviewed her?
It was another guy whose podcast she went on, and I can't remember his name at the moment. And then she played that episode on her show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. He digs up a couple things she didn't know about. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we are not as talented as Terry Gross at all.
You know, she has a way of like getting it out of you. Like, no,
yeah.
like really, tell me how that made you
Yeah.
feel. You know, like
Yeah.
it's-
Well, what
She
was
pries.
it?
She prods and pries a little bit. In like her
Chris,
sweet
what
little
was
way.
it that made that Halloween show so dark for you?
I think it's because I was.
Tell me about your mother.
It wasn't my mother. I've actually dealt with that because my therapist said you don't owe your parents anything. They failed your inner child when you were younger. Because again, to segue back to the beginning, boomers are self-centered. You know, the greatest economy, the easiest job market, the easiest housing
Had
market,
it
the
made.
easiest college, everything.
No
you know,
major
like
wars.
you know, there's-
Set us up.
There's $1 trillion of wealth transfer about to go down, you know, with this older generation.
Oh, yeah.
Like my dad's 83. He called me. He's like, I have a podcast. I'm like, really, Dad? I'm like, what's it called? Like Racist White Man? and he was like, you know, like he's not. He's a product of his time. You know.
We're all a product of our
No,
time.
but it's like
whether,
he's like when you think about it, like you know, like I'm not giving him a pass or anything like
Yeah.
that. But it's like Archie Bunker, and like when they asked him, like, oh, you know,
Does
he's
he
like,
have an ass groove in his favorite
who was
chair?
the Archie Bunker actor? Something Connor.
Carol
right?
O'Connor.
Carol O'Connor said, "I feel sorry for Archie Bunker. He's like everyone thinks he's amazing. He's a miserable human being.
Right.
He's detestable. He stands against. But everyone thought he was playing him like." But
To
the
be-
point,
yeah.
he's so closed-minded
Yep.
that he doesn't see the forest through the trees, right? Like,
Yeah.
and maybe that was what the thing that really attracted me to Phish was about. It was about opening your mind.
So you were
Expanding.
Meathead.
I was never Meathead.
Well, he was opening his mind.
Meathead.
Meat was as his
Oh
son-in-law.
yeah, no, his son-in-law. You're right.
Yeah, which is Rob Reiner.
the show.
Rob
I
Reiner,
got
yeah.
you.
Right,
When
Rob
I
Reiner
met
being
Sally and then all this other stuff. Sally Struthers. Do you have
Edith.
a pet? Does your dog suffer in a cage? Sally Struthers, right? That's what she-
Yep.
And
Yep.
Rob Reiner being, we're talking Spinal Tap,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Princess
Great
Bride,
movies,
Stand
yeah.
By Me.
No, it's
you-
great.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
director, dude. Great. Yeah, he
Fantastic.
did really good. But I feel like a Greek Larry David most of the time in my life. Like when I interact.
Do you narrate your life to yourself?
Do I have an inner monologue?
No, I know you. I know you have. By talking to you, I know you have an internal monologue.
I talk to myself quite a bit.
But
like,
do you
when I'm
narrate
working.
yourself?
No, Vic. As
Do
I
you
walked
give
into
yourself
the
a-
kitchen to make dinner, but I will give my
Do you
daughter
give yourself a
play-by-plays
soundtrack?
when I'm
I give
cooking.
myself a soundtrack.
Oh, another thing about psychedelic experiences, right? Some people have visual experiences, some people have auditory experiences, some people have bodily. So I'm a visual artist. I have a lot of visual. My experience, that's the one I prefer, right? I don't prefer the esoteric body buzz or sometimes sounds make me nauseous, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So the more visual, the better. But the anxiety triggers, my brother's always like, why are you getting anxious? Like, because that's how I perceive the experience, right? Like I'm a visual person. Like I perceive the world visually. Like other people have sound.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that on the show here because for me, I sit here and I'll be trying to talk to people and I'll just stare off into space as I trying to explain the picture in my head. You know, because I see in pictures.
Yeah.
And we're recording in pictures. And the picture's telling us that I think we're just about out of time.
Yeah, we are.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. Great to have you on.
Maybe
I think.
You guys have me back with a script so I could stick to at least talking points.
Bring in some questions from your listeners.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. There's another one coming in from
Bob and I.
I'm trying to think about like a really odd name, like, Michael Sphincter.
What? Well, that's, of course, with a PH, too.
Harry Butts over in... I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
If you grew
Garrison
up
Keillor.
with hippie parents, you drove around town listening to Prairie Home Companion in the car.
In car talk.
And
Yeah,
car talk.
with
Those guys.
Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers.
Yeah, he's our Tommy laugher. He laughs.
I do
he
have a
laughs.
little
He has
cackle.
a little cackle going
Yep.
on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Tommy laugher. That's a
So
new
we're
word.
4 minutes over.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah, I was counting down. So anyways, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on.
Do your little segue out. I'll just...
Well, yeah, but he was trying to thank you.
Oh.
No, thank you for coming on. I got a good sense of what Phish means to you and a lot of other people by the way that you are expressed and animated.
Yeah.
And I'm around some Phish heads a lot, and it was good to hear you talk about Phish. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who
And it
doesn't-
sounds like you probably have a lot of other things to talk about other than Phish, and I think he's a potential guest to come back. When we switch things out. I mean, you said you're a visual artist.
Yeah, like oil paint. I do.
Yeah.
Like I was carving in bluestone over the weekend.
yeah.
But I tend to be a really good anchorman for Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of trivial knowledge, which is basic, just enough to get myself in trouble.
Yep.
That's my new line. I know enough about something to get myself in trouble. I'm not an expert at anything, as I think it was the Greek philosopher said, Socrates said, the only thing I know is I know nothing. So, but Dan, thanks for having me. So.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for joining us. And thanks for joining us on video. All right. And we will see you guys. Wait, you can take us
Thanks,
out.
world. Party. I can't
We'll see you next season on What Might Be Love Your Brain.
Thanks for listening. And until next time. Oh, wrong setting.
That's better. Thanks for listening, and until next time, don't forget to love your brain.